Hey listeners, my name is Kayla and welcome back to another episode of the Hi-Fi Preschool and Kids Weekly Training Podcast. I'm joined today with some of our amazing teammates, Crystal and Rachel, and we are going to jump into week 2 this month as we talk about how God made us special for preschool and kids, how we are uniquely designed. So as you guys know, hopefully the song has been playing in your head all week like it's been playing in mine. I love the kids song Priceless this month. And also in preschool, we are talking head to toe. God made me special. This is such a sweet month to dive into this month. And we are going to be talking this week about the life of Samson. Now, how in the world does the life of Samson connect to my life is special to God and my life matters to God? Well, we're going to unpack that together here in the next few minutes. But before we do, Crystal and Rachel, we always have a fun idea or thought to get us kicked off today. And so today's question is, what are you especially enjoying about your life right now? So we're talking about how our lives are special, how they matter to God. We're uniquely designed. What is going on in your life right now that you're like, man, I am just really enjoying this about life right now?
Okay, I would say, I think two things. One, I think isn't specific to me, but it's the summer weather, the sunshine, being outside. I think it's just feeding my spirit.
Yes.
And then I think specifically to me, maybe my kids being home more in the summer and just they're at a really great age where it's easier to do things with them. They have their own like deep things they want to talk about and their own things that are going on that you can unpack with them. And so I think that's just a really sweet spot to be.
Totally. Yeah. Listeners, you may have young kiddos at home too who are out on summer break and getting to enjoy all of those things. And it's just such a sweet season. Like it doesn't last forever, but it's such a sweet season to get to have your kids home and do all the fun summer things and just let that warm sunshine just feed your soul. I love that. Crystal, what about you? What are some fun things that you are enjoying about life right now?
Well, as somebody who loves fun, I feel like this is a hard question because I'm like, I have a million things I'm enjoying about life right now. A few weeks ago, I returned from a fun trip to Las Vegas with a friend where we got to go see a concert at the Sphere, which I mean, absolutely amazing, outstanding, everything you could have imagined with that just cool architecture and technology. I don't know. But what I'm enjoying right now, granted, my kiddo, my youngest, the only one I have at home now, is still not out of school because here on the West Coast, like summer break does not start until like the end. Yeah, we have we still have a few more weeks to go, but my relationship with him right now is just absolutely amazing. He is about to be in high school, which is crazy to me, but I don't know. He's just like, he's one of my best friends. We love hanging out together. We laugh at a lot of the same things. We talk all the time. We love watching movies. And it's just, I look at this and I think, what an incredible time in life that I have this amazing, amazing relationship with my son. So that's probably got to be number one to what I'm enjoying. But that concert, close number 2.
Close number 2 to your son. Oh, I love it. That's so sweet. I love hearing about how the things that you love right now are the people that are in your life and the relationships that you're having. I would share something similar. So if you guys are faithful listeners on the podcast, you know that I am enjoying a sweet season right now of being a newlywed. And so I think I'm just enjoying life, just enjoying being married and hanging out with my husband and my dog and going on trail walks. And granted, I cannot share the love that you two share for summer and heat and sweating and bugs. I gotta say, I'm not a fan. It's not my thing. It's not my jam. But I understand the love of the season of summer.
Yes. Yes.
So I am waiting for that first cool, crisp air to come back into my life. But for where I live in Nashville, it is probably not happening until Thanksgiving. So we've got some time. All right. Well, the reason that we asked that question is because one, it's just fun, but two, it's a good question to get us started thinking just about what's going on in our lives right now and to connect us to understand that no matter what's going on, whether we love the summer heat or you're like me and you hate the summer heat, that whatever stage or season of life that we are in, that our lives and what's going on, the details of our lives really matter to God. And so knowing that, I want us to turn to the content that what we're teaching this week. We know we are talking about the life of Samson from Judges 13 to 16. And you may be wondering, how in the world are we teaching this Bible story? Because there's a lot of stuff here that has some amazing moments and some not so amazing moments. So as we teach that our lives matter to God for kids, that's the main idea. My life matters to God. Preschool, a little bit different main idea. My life is special to God. Just a little bit change in that language so that we are just a little bit more age appropriate there. But we're going to be talking about Samson and how his life was filled with a lot of things. Some things were really amazing. Some things were not so amazing. So Rachel, can you kind of help us unpack a little bit why we're using the life of Samson, why we're using this story to primarily lean into why and how our lives are special and how they matter to God?
Yeah. I think you're right, Kayla. This can be a little bit of a tricky story when we just take an initial look at it. And I think it's important to connect and show that our lives are special to God because it's a great reminder that Samson didn't always get it right. He made wrong choices. And then there were times where God worked through him in incredible ways. And I think it's a great reminder to our preschoolers and kids in the room and even leaders in the room that the same could be said for us, that there are times we make wrong choices and there are times where God works through us and our lives are filled with both. But no matter what wrong choices we make or what opportunities that God does work through us, we can know that our lives are special to God and our lives do matter to God because God loves us. He made us. He knows us. And he wants to work through us. And so I think this story can be tricky in the way that we don't want to lean too heavily into Samson's wrong choices. And we don't want to lean too heavily into the areas where Samson got it right. But I think it helps us see ourselves in this story and see how we are both. We get it wrong. And then there are times where God works through us. And all along the way, through the bumps and the smooth times, that we can know that we're special to God and that our lives matter to him.
Yeah, that's great. As you were talking, it reminded me, Crystal and I were talking about this earlier this week. There's this great book about instruments in the hands of the Redeemer. And it just reminds me that like Samson's life was an instrument in God's hands. Yeah. And did he get everything right? Absolutely not. Did he get everything wrong? No, he didn't. But our goal as leaders is not to elevate Samson as a hero in any way. It's to elevate God and to say, look how God worked through this person's life. He made some mistakes. He made some wrong choices. And we also make wrong choices. And regardless of that, God still worked through his life. He was still an instrument in God's hands to be used for God's purposes and for God's glory. And that is how God sees us as well. He sees us as instruments in his hands to be used for his kingdom and for his glory. As we look over to like Hebrews 11, Samson makes it in the Hall of Faith. And so like, they're like, all right. But just as a reminder for us, even as us as leaders, as we look at the kids in our ministries, and we may know some of those stories of the home lives that some of our kids come from, or some of the things that they have been exposed to, some of the trauma that they are experiencing, and think, how is the Lord going to use that? How
Mm.
is he going to work through that situation? And it's just such an encouragement to us to be reminded every child in our ministry matters to God.
Amen.
Every single one is known by him, loved by him, seen by him, and is an instrument in his hands. And that just gets me really excited as we talk
Mm-hmm.
about that. Crystal, I may have stolen some of your thunder, and I apologize if you were going
Oh
to
no,
talk
you're
about
good.
that
You're
a
good.
little bit here in
You're
a
good.
second. But all right, I'm going to switch over, Crystal, because I want you to help us talk through a little bit about this week's Bible story and the main idea, particularly as how it aligns with gospel conversations with preschoolers and kids. So as we talk about how we are uniquely designed by God, that from head to toe, God made us special and that our
Mm-hmm.
lives matter. How does that translate into how we lean into the gospel and how we understand it and how we also share it with others?
I think it's important that as leaders, every single week we remind ourselves that as we teach these simple truths and these main ideas, that not every kid in the room is going to believe it. They're not
Mm.
going to believe that it's true. It could be because they're hearing it for the first time, or it could be because of situations, trauma in their lives. And so, as we sit there and say, you are uniquely designed and your life is special to God, you are uniquely designed and your life matters to God, that we will have preschoolers and kids say, is that really true? I, I've been told that I was a mistake. My parents didn't plan me. I'm in foster care. Like, does that matter to God? Um, there's nothing special about me. This was my personal one when I was younger, as a younger sister to a brother who was very, very smart. I always just felt like I'm just regular. I'm just normal. There's nothing special about me. And so we always want to approach this that, yes, we are so excited for this truth and this main idea, but also recognizing that there are some hurdles to get over when it comes to helping preschoolers and kids recognize that this isn't a general statement. This is a personal statement for you. It doesn't matter the background that you came from. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Your life does matter to God. And I think what's so great is how we can connect that to the gospel is that we get to say, your life matters to God so much that he went to the extreme to make the way for you to have a relationship with him. You matter to him so much that he literally sent his son to die in your place because he wants you to know him and love him and follow him and live for him. You matter to him so much that he did all of that because he has great plans to work through you and do awesome and amazing things. And so, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when it doesn't seem like it, even if other people say that it's not true, we can look at the Bible and we can look at who God is and we can say, you know what? I'm going to believe him. I'm going to believe his plan and purpose for my life versus what anybody else would say, and even versus what I feel on the inside. Hopefully, you've noticed by now in Hi-Fi, we lean a lot away from feeling language. That is something that Kayla, as our team leader, has really helped us understand is that while feelings, obviously, they feel really true, they are so subjective to circumstances and things. And we want to teach kids the truth. And the truth is, you matter to God. Your life matters to God. Your feelings, they can lie to you. God never lies to you. And so, as Rachel mentioned, making a big deal of God in this Bible story, we get to make a big deal of God in the gospel as well, that he did all of this because your life does matter to him. And so I think that connection between the Bible story, the simple truth and the main idea, and gospel three circles, it just goes hand in hand for this and will be so meaningful for those preschoolers and kids who might be struggling with this idea of their God-given identity and their unique design.
Yeah, definitely. And I love how when we get to incorporate that three circles language and those conversations into the mix of how we start with design. We talk about God's good design of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to lean in a little bit more around, let's look at, maybe a blade of grass or a tree. Like let's just, we're at the park. Let's just, be outside and let's look at the things that God made. What are the details you see? What are the lines that you see? What are the designs you see on the bark of that tree? Do you think that God had such intentional design for his creation? Think about how much more his intentional design is for you. Like,
Yeah.
think about how intentional it was that he made your nose the shape that it is, that he made your eyes the shape that it is, that he made your hands and your fingernails look like they do. Um, and not just physical things, he made you to be curious. He made you to ask a lot of questions, or he made you to really enjoy music in a way that not everyone does. Like being able to draw things out in kids of the
Hmm.
unique design of how God made them, I think is really, really helpful and important and meaningful in a way that isn't just flattery, right?
Yeah.
And I think that you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like kids often get a lot of flattery from adults
Hmm.
sometimes, particularly adults who may or may not really know and understand kids. And so there's a lot of flattery that comes in of, oh, I just love your hair bow, and oh, I just love this. And rather than, the more we get to know kids, the more we get to understand them and meet them on a deeper level, the more we get to speak into that. And that comes from building trust and having respect and
Hmm.
gaining influence with kids, to where the things that we say aren't just brushed off the shoulder, or it's just not like water that, goes off of a duck's back that doesn't actually soak in. And so what are some ways that as leaders that we really can help those preschoolers and kids truly understand their life, like what we're saying of how their lives are meaningful and valuable, in a way that doesn't just seem like I'm here once a month or once every other week and I'm just saying something to make you feel good and flatter you, versus, no, I'm actually teaching you truth that I believe is true and I want you to believe it's true too.
Yeah. I think that one of the first things we can do is just pray that God would open our eyes, help us to see those things, and to even say, like, God, what what does this kid, what does this preschooler need to hear today?
Mm.
What can I say that would help to build up that bigness of you and that understanding of the way that you have designed them, and then to just be faithful to do it. I think oftentimes God will put things on our hearts and we're like, well, that's kind of weird, and it's him being like, no, 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 like, yeah, it's weird because you didn't think of it, I'm the one that gave it to you. And so really just looking at their lives and saying, what can I say that is going to build up this God given identity, but also that God given purpose? And so, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the two of you, and I'm thinking about, if you were kids in my ministry, what would I be able to say to you? I would think like, Rachel, it is incredible how kind you are. Um, God has done some great things in you that has just, I don't know, he shines through you when you are so nice and you are so kind and you are so helpful. Do you see that about yourself? God is so proud of you for what you do. Kayla, you are such an incredible leader for the people that are around you. You listen well, and you share good ideas, and you help people feel seen and known. And it's like, when you do that, they recognize that God is working in you and he is using you. He's working through you to encourage other people. I hope you can see that, and I hope that you do it not just when you're here at church, but when you're at school and when you're at home. And so, really, just seeing those incredible qualities that God has gifted, and the preschoolers and the kids in our ministry, but then also saying, like, I see God working in your life in these ways, not just here at church, but he can do it everywhere. And so, yeah, that would be kind of my suggestion. Rachel, I don't know if you have something to add to that.
Yeah, because I think it's easy to flatter people when you don't know them because that's all you
Yes.
can think about to tell them. But our goal is to really know the preschoolers and kids in our ministries. And so
Mm-hmm.
as we get to know them, we can see what really is meaningful and what God is really doing in their lives. And then we can speak life in those really specific ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I think something that's really important is this generation of children, Alpha and Beta, coming. One thing we know they need is resiliency.
Yeah.
And they can build resiliency in life with some confidence in themselves. But we want to see them build resiliency in faith. And I
Amen.
think that confidence really helps them build that as well. And so,
Mm-hmm.
not just saying, wow, you have a cute sense of style, or, I love your shoes today, but instead, really speaking that life into them so that they can have that confidence that they really are seeing that the people leading them really know them, and they're
Mm.
really speaking that life into them that connects to how God is at work. And
Yeah.
so that they can remember, like for me, for example, I can remember being in elementary school, and some people around me would have used the word bossy. But other people in my life said, no, that's leadership. And
Mm.
those people in my life speaking leadership into my life instead of bossiness or, kind of a
Mm-hmm.
superficial trait that they saw, really made all the difference and gave me confidence. And
Mm-hmm.
and we can do that in our ministries too by really watching and seeing who these kids are and what God is doing, in their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so great. Thank you both for sharing that. And I love too how you both shared in different ways, like speaking truth and speaking life into and over these kids and preschoolers and asking for a response. I see this in you. Do you see it too? Because then that allows that child or preschooler not just to hear what you say but then to do something with it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not just a matter of, oh, okay, someone gave me a compliment or they said this nice
Yeah.
thing about me. Now they're asking me to respond. Do you see that in yourself? I see what God is doing. Do you see it too? And that builds that confidence that you're talking about, Rachel, that resilience in kids as they start taking ownership within themselves. So that's great. Thank you
Yeah.
both. Well, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. We are praying that the Lord use this week of content to truly just launch conversations within your ministry with you, with your leaders, with other kids about how valuable their lives are to God, and
Mm-hmm.
how as they're going into the summer season, going into this BBS season, having a lot more conversations about the gospel and about what it looks like to know and follow Jesus, that they would hear truth being spoken to them, over them, that their life matters and that they are so special to God. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in, and we will see you next time.